Hello everybody, welcome to Janky Asian Theater, and now we're doing The Return of the Jedi. So, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, in the third installment of the original series, we have in the sphincter of the galaxy on Tatooine, Jabba's palace, and we have our two droids, C-3PO and R2-D2, walking up over there, all beeping and booping. And they get inside, and Jabba, portrayed by my hand tonight, is having a totally swanky party because he's got his main debtor over there, Han Solo, frozen in wonderful carbonite. So, you know, everybody's partying and Jabba's like, what the fuck are two droids doing in my house? So, you know, C-3PO is like, oh, great, oh, obese Jabba, we come here to present you a message from our master. And, like, R2-D2 totally produces this hologram, and it's a hologram of Luke. And Luke is totally like, hey, Mr. Jabba, sir, I present to you these two slave droids to do as you see fit. I've totally augmented the service droid to perform oral sex to your giant girth. And then the hologram cuts out and C-3PO is like, what? And Jabba's like, alright, set him up. So they go over there, and then the next two characters that enter the movie are this really cool looking bounty hunter named Bosch, and oh no, Chewbacca, who's been totally captured. And they go over there, and, you know, Bosch is demanding a bounty for Chewbacca, and Jabba's like, alright, I'll give you a lower percent, and Bosch is like, nah, I won't have that shit, and he takes out a fucking thermal detonator, and Jabba's like, whoa, okay, you're serious, I like the cut of your shit, kid, give him twice as much. And, you know, everybody parties and gets drunk and does death sticks and shit, and at night after everybody's asleep, Bosch goes all the way up to Han Solo, and starts, you know, sensually stroking the statue. And we find out it's none other than Princess Leia, disguised as a bounty hunter. Ooh. And, you know, she goes over there, and, ooh, another one of the palace guards comes over, but, oh, it turns out none other to be the only African-American cast member in Star Wars, Lando! Yeah! And they're on a, like, they're gonna save Han, and, like, she totally unfreezes him in carbonite. And then Han falls to the floor, he's like, I'm blind! So Leia's like, don't worry, honey, it'll go away in a second, and, like, you know, they kiss and everything, and, you know, Lando goes over here. But unfortunately, they get captured by, you know, the badass of the galaxy, Boba Fett, and Chewbacca, and he's like, put her in an iron bikini. So Han ends up once again out of carbonite, but in bondage, and Princess Leia ends up on the wrong side of the hut. Now, she's sitting up over here, and things are once again looking grim for the class, when finally Luke comes over and he's like, alright, I can clearly see everybody fucked up, so now it's left up to me to fix everything. And Jabba the Hutt's like, no, put him into the pit. So he falls into a pit where there's the fucking Rancor, and Luke has to fight this thing, but he doesn't have his lightsaber. Oh no! So, you know, the Rancor totally slaps his shit around, but, like, you know, he ducks and rolls and goes between its legs. And eventually the Rancor grabs him, but he manages to jam his skull into the door controls, runs over there, and the door kind of slams on the Rancor. And, you know, there's this fat, sweaty guy who comes over and he starts crying. And I guess they had a sexual relationship. They didn't really go into that very well. But, you know, Luke totally gets out, but he finds out everybody is on the skiff, along with Jabba, Slave Girl Leia, Boba Fett, Lando and Espionage, R2-D2 and C-3PO, Chewbacca, and Han Solo. And he's about to feed them to the Sarlacc. So they go into the desert, and, you know, Han's about to be the first one they're gonna throw in, and, you know, like, fucking, he's just up there gloating over everybody, being like, yeah, I'm totally fat ass and awesome. What are you gonna do, Han Solo? You're fucking blind. And, you know, Luke comes out of nowhere on another one of the smaller skiffs, represented by this post-it note today, and he's like, hey, I'm gonna give you till a count of 3 to just surrender your shit. And Jabba the Hutt's like, fuck you. But R2-D2 totally jumps up and he vomits out Luke's lightsaber, and Luke starts cutting people up left and right. And you know, oh, out of nowhere Lando like throws off his cowl and shoots up everybody. So you know, everything's down to shit. Leia out of nowhere grabs her chain and starts suffocating Jabba the Hutt, like wrapping it around his neck, and there's like bile and vomit going all over the place. People are on the floor dead. The Sarlacc's just totally waving its tentacles around while people are just falling into his orifice. And like, oh, Han Solo gets knocked off because he's blind, and like he's hanging on, and like Lando's there too, but like, you know, they get helped up. Chewbacca's totally tearing people's arms off. And like Han manages to get like a vibro-bladed sphere, and Boba Fett is right behind him, and he's lined up a shot on Luke as he tears this guy off with his lightsaber. And like, you know, Lando goes like, Boba Fett, and Han's like, where? And he turns around, and the fucking spear hits Boba Fett, the badass bounty hunter in the entire galaxy. His jetpack explodes, sending him careening straight into the Sarlacc. Game over, Boba Fett. I like to... although I am a profound believer in the expanded galaxy where Boba Fett does manage to escape out of the Sarlacc, lives a fulfilling life only to fall back into the Sarlacc. Anyway, so that happens. Jabba the Hutt is dead. Leia is just totally standing on top of him, covered in bile and like horrible secretions, still looking pretty sexy. That's something to be said. And you know, they all get together and they're like, alright, let's do this shit, yo. And they split up. So Luke goes all the way back to Dagobah. Han Solo, Princess Leia, and the rest of the group, besides from R2-D2, who's with Luke, piloting him in his X-Wing, meet up with the rest of the Rebel fleet, and they start to plot an attack against the Empire, who's apparently built a second Death Star. Now, Luke arrives back on Dagobah only to find that his master Yoda is on his deathbed, and Luke manages to finish the little bit of the training he has left to finish, and he's like, oh no, Yoda, why are you dying? Death sticks, too many I had while you were gone. I was. And, you know, Yoda passes and he becomes one with the Force along with, okay, that's gonna be Ben. Ben Kenobi. And, you know, Ben totally hovers over Luke and he tells him, Luke, I meant to tell you this earlier and I didn't think I'd have to bring it up, but Leia's totally your sister. I am so sorry. Fuck! So, he goes back, and he joins up with the rest of the Rebel fleet. And the Rebel fleet, led by Mon Mothma, and Admiral Akbar, is Admiral Akbar, oh wait, no. Admiral Akbar, portrayed today by Dracula. And they're about to launch the single greatest aerial attack in the history of the galaxy against the second Death Star. But in order to do that, they need to knock out the shield generator. The shield generator, yeah. Who's on the planet, on the forest moon of Endor? Now, they have their plan is they managed to steal a Lambda shuttle, and they've got the codes for it, and they're gonna totally sneak in with like a crack team of rebel SWAT troopers and shoot up the place explosives, and the thing goes up in flames. So that's the plan, and everybody is like, all right, this is a great plan. So Luke, Leia, Han Solo, Chewbacca, and the rest of the cast, along with the crack team of people over here, get on there. Admiral Akbar, Mon Mothma, the rest of the rebels get on the ship along with fucking Lando, and Lando's in the Millennium Falcon now, who was originally his ship was some sort of, I don't know, weird alien co-pilot thing that talks in tongues. But anyway, so they get ready for the attack, waiting for the team on the floor. So these guys zoom all the way throughout. They're right next to the fucking Death Star, and Darth Vader is in there. He's like, ooh, I sense a presence in the Force. And the stormtroopers are totally going to shoot them out of the sky when he's like, no, let them pass, or I'm totally going to strangle you without touching you. So they manage to make planetfall, and everybody disperses there, and they're starting to make their way around, when all of a sudden somebody drops the fucking ball and a fucking scout trooper sees them, and they get on these fucking speeder bikes that go like 500 million kilometers a second. Luke and Leia get on one and they decide it's a good idea to go through a fucking forest on a motorcycle shooting